Welcome to Kid and Mart RC, and I'm Kmart. We're going to work on the VS4 10 Origin Classic Pro that of course comes with the metal axles. So I've done the tires already and the wheels. They turned out awesome. The Flub RC inserts, which should give it just enough squish, I hope. So we'll be golden there. So we'll be working on bag A and bag B, which is the axles. So this is what the kit comes with, the regular classic, or the original, or Origin Classic, sorry. And it does come with the plastic axles. But if you get the Pro, they throw in the box with the metal axles and the X-ray rims that you can't buy anywhere else other than the Origin and the Origin Classic. They did give away some in the TOF this year that are different colors, which I missed, which I'm bummed. And as you saw in the other video, I just went out and bought me a mullet that I wanted in the first place. So we're going to be working on this today. I'll fast forward through some parts that's mundane and slow, but bear with me, and we'll get this put together. So we'll take bag A and bag A2, and I think we'll just comes with thread locker, but I use my own thread locker, just because it comes in a bigger bottle. I saved this stuff for later. It's always good to have. Smaller tubes of it goes in your go bag or whatever if you might need it out on the trail. So I won't be using these, obviously, or the metal ones, because I've got some heavy knuckles that I'm going to put on there, which will be these, and that is Vanquish part number VPS0290 for the F10 straight axle brass knuckles. They're hard to get them because they're in and out of stock all the time, but I jump on them when I can. Alright, so I gotta go find a box or a bag for parts that I'm not gonna use, so I can keep them for later, or somebody else needs them or whatnot. So I'm gonna go get me a Ziploc bag, because I really only need the gears and the axles and maybe the screws. We'll keep the screws. I'll be right back. I swear gallon-sized zip bags are your friend. Alright, so that'll go in there. The knuckles will go in there because we won't use those. That will go in there because I won't use those. And I believe, there they are, so I don't need these. So that'll go in the bag. We'll set that aside. That. Set my book. I gotta figure out where to set my book so I can see my book without it being in my way and without getting it all greasy. Maybe I'll get me a set of clips or something for the future, because some people can build these things without looking at the directions, but I still like having them. I mean, I probably could too, but it's nice so you know you don't miss steps and have to go back and do it again. Man, these axles are nice. Phew. I do like them. Alright, get all this plastic out of the way. And again, I won't use those, so those can also go in the using a Ziploc bag. Don't exactly know what those two screws are for, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Set all these aside. And a pin. Okay, so the first step is putting the gear together. Okay, don't lose that little one. Heavens forbid, we'll put that up there. I try to put like screws together. It's just easier to find for later. It does take a little bit of extra time. Yeah, I'm not liking that. I'm gonna have to find a place for my book because I use these little holes on my mat a lot. There we go. I think those are the ones I'm looking for. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, don't lose that little itty bitty one. 6. Okay, and then we'll put these pins in a little cubby. Bearings aren't going to roll off on me, so we should be golden there. So, and I like this book. I don't know. I've watched another page that I like the guy and I follow him, but he just badmouths this book a lot. I like the fact that you could just put the screw on there. So somebody that doesn't know the sizes, it's exact match. So 1-to-1 in the book, you can find the right screws. You don't have to measure them. Same with the bearings. So obviously, well, that's not the right bearing. So you got to find the right bearing. There it is. Look at that. See, it's a 1-to-1 match. I really like the book. I don't know why the other guy badmouths it so much, but we'll find out. Every book's different. I badmouthed the Traxxas book once because they put the wrong part number on it for the Traxxas XRT and X-Max, the upper I can't even think about it. Anyway, one of the parts where it needed an X and it had 2 extra holes and the other one did not. And I needed 2 extra holes for the XRT. It's the bulkhead, the upper bulkhead. They've since fixed that in the book. But boy, when I first got it, I was pretty upset. I wanted to put my truck back together. I couldn't because obviously I didn't have the right part. So I figured it out. So no, none of these books are not always accurate. But for the most part, they're pretty decent. So weirded out the fact that that's one thing I'm kind of bummed is Vanquish will use an M2 by 8mm, but yet their wheel hardware is American. It's like 5/64 and 1/16. Why would you do your wheels one size and your model is all another size? It's just the dumbest thing ever. That I will badmouth because it just irritates me to no end. Why? So this is 1.5, but yet you do their wheel hardware and their wheel hardware is 1/16. So I had to buy some cheap tools just to do the wheels. A lot of times I'll change these ones out, and I suppose you could change these out, but sometimes the heads don't fit in the rims. I have other hardware, so sometimes with some wheels I am forced to use the Vanquish hardware, which I'm not happy about, because again, you have to have SEA versus metric, so you have to have both sets of tools. It'd be nice if they just either made their whole car SEA or their whole car metric. It would be nice. So on these, I will just put one screw in here, and I notice I use a mark that I can see easily, so I'm not going to Loctite this one for just this second, because I want this on here nice and solid and lined up. Now some say I'll use too much Loctite. That's fine. I've never had a problem. It dries, and it's not like I'm going to use it, you know, minutes from now. It's definitely going to sit 24 hours, because I'm not going to get this truck done in another week or two. Because working a 40-hour-a-week job and trying to do videos, I just didn't realize how much work doing these videos are. It's a second job, really, and I'm sure some of these creators, it's a full-time job, because by the time you get content such as this, or going out and running my cars, or like my vacation video, I had 4 hours of video that I had to edit. Nobody's going to sit and watch 4 hours of my vacation, I'm sure. So I had to edit it down to what I think people might watch. I think that video ended up still being 40 minutes long, which I think might be too long. But if some watch it, that's great. I like to share my stuff. So I'll continue to share my stuff, because kind of just using it to try to pad my retirement. So it's not like I'm asking for a handout. All you got to do is like and subscribe and watch my videos, and that'll help me out later down the road. And I'm not looking to get rich, but a little extra money for retirement would not hurt. And if my videos help you out, you see a problem that I've solved, or I do it differently and it helps you out, that is great. That is what this is all about, really. I've only been doing this for about 6 years. I used to do it as a kid with the old Nitro ones, and I lost interest because, you know, when you're a little kid, your parents weren't interested in it. And it's not like they're going to take you to the hobby store all the time. So I got a paper out, and I paid for my own parts. Didn't have many friends that were in it, and so I had no real way of doing any of this. So as I got older, now there's Facebook, there's groups, there's social clubs. It's a lot easier to learn how to do stuff online. I could drive myself to the hobby store now, and I have a lot more money to spend on it, really. So it's a lot funner now than it was when I was younger. So I got to remember to pull this one back out to Loctite it, because that's the one I started with. So anyway, yeah, if some of these videos help you, that's great. That's what I'm trying to do, show you my trials and errors. Nobody's perfect. We learn as we go. I still watch a lot of other people and learn about this hobby. I love Boom Slang's page and his suspension and shocks. I've learned a lot. Oh my God, if you don't know who that is, look him up. He's got some awesome information. It's not exciting and fast and entertaining. It is knowledge. So if you're looking for knowledge and the science behind it, like he says, it's the science behind our little trucks, our little toys. He's 100% right. He's got a lot of good information, and he's what we call a professional. I'm not. I'm just a hobbyist trying to share some of my knowledge. Okay, so again, we look at the book here. I believe these are the open, all the sealed ones you can see that are sealed. Look at the pictures. I mean, they'll tell you. It shows you that this doesn't have a black seal, so obviously it's not one of these. So that's not the one you're looking for. You're looking for this open one, and you need two of them. So one there, one there. Again, it's one to one. Match it up. I put together the VRD, and it was easy, and I didn't have any problems with that book. I'm hoping this is going to be the same way. The transmission, yeah, everything was there. I didn't have a problem with it. I get overwhelmed. I have a little OCD and a little anxiety. So when things just you get a big bunch of parts in front of me, and I see the picture, and there's even more parts in the picture. Sometimes I get overwhelmed, and I get lost. I get lost in the sauce. So sometimes I got to take a break and come back and figure it out, you know. So we're going to put this like this, orientate it like this. This goes this way. Put that on there. It's going to be tight. There we go. I don't recommend beating on it with a hammer or anything. A lot of times you can rock it back and forth and get it to go. If it still doesn't want to go, check your finger around it, see if there's any burrs or spurs or metal, because these are machine gears that they got some really tight tolerances. All right, it spins nice, no binding. I check everything as I go. So we're going to grab our pumpkin, what I call a pumpkin. It shows that it is orientated up. So we're going to find our big fat bearing right here, and we're going to put it in the hole. Yeah, that snapped in there all right. Okay. Not as tight as I'd like it. There it is, but it does fit in there nice with no play, so that's good. Grab this one, and it shoves in the hole because it comes out here. Yeah, it's really nice. No, not a lot of wobble. I like that. So we're gonna put this right here. You can see a little cutout. That kind of gives you an idea which side the gear is gonna go on. I mean, it does show it in the book, but just by looking at it, you can always, so some of them have a double, so you can flip this upside down for reverse if you're going to do a four-wheel steer or whatnot. Come on. Okay, let's put that in here. So what we're going to do is, this is one of the parts where you might be able to shim. So we're looking at some cap screws. We got 4 of them. We have 4 here. Let's see if this is the right size. Again, just match it up to the picture. Yep, that looks good to me. So what I like to do is I put this rear end together, and that is not the right driver. Because this way I can see if there's any play. All right, why am I not going in there? Oh my word. I need 3 hands. I really do. All right, this is going in a little tighter than I expect, so let's see if it screws into here. Okay, it does. That's weird. I'm gonna check all 4 holes just because I don't like to force things. I mean, if you force stuff, you strip the gears, it puts you behind on your build. So just double check. Take the time. you'll thank yourself for it later. I mean, you strip something like this and you go ahead and put it together anyway, then you find that it comes apart while you're in a comp or out playing with it, and then you have to tear it all back down. There we go. It's spinning. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Let's put them in there loosely. Kind of shove it through the hole a little bit and line it up, and we'll pull it in. I don't understand. That is scaring me. That is no reason for that. There we go. I've never had that problem before, so maybe these holes are just slightly misaligned. But like I said, don't just screw it in there. Don't just manhandle it and strip your gears. Find a different way. Like I said, I checked the holes, so you saw me check them, so I know the thread's right. So just make sure this is lined up, and if it's tough, don't do it. Find a different angle so it lines up, especially with metal. Plastic's forgiven. You could kind of, the holes will stretch a little, whatever, but then again, you're usually going into plastic, so you don't want to strip it. So I'm not going to go anything rough here. We're just going to go finger tight, because what we're trying to do is check tolerances. So I want a little tightness. I don't want it cinched down yet, but just snug. Okay, so we're going to spin this. It feels really nice. So can I go side to side? No, that is a good fitment. Oh, they did a good job. There is no side to side play whatsoever. So what this means is I'm not going to need to shim in between here or in between there, because it doesn't have to go. It has zero play back and forth, which does solve one problem. Because if you have to shim in between there and here, if you move it over too far, this binds the pinion. See how this has a lot of play in it? And if this has play in it, you have to shim both. If you shim this too much, it pinches this, and you can't shim this. So long story short, I'm glad I only have to shim the pinion, and it feels smooth. So what you guys are feeling and you're grinding on a ready to run, a lot of the times even the ready runs need to be shimmed. And what you're going to shim is in between this bearing here. So this is the bearing that goes in the output, and what you shim is you put a shim on top of this bearing in between here and your axle. So when your axle goes in here, it holds this out instead of allowing it to fall in. And when it falls in, you hear it? It grinds, it binds, it's binding up. You pull it out, and it's nice and smooth. So that's what you're shimming. And see, it's not much play. It's really not much play. But it is enough that it grinds your gears. It will, put shards of metal. It will wear funny. So the shards of metal go in there. Metal against metal creates a little cement mixer in there, and just eats away at your gears even more, and causes them to strip and teeth to break. So real good side to side. So we're not going to worry about that. So now what we're going to do is take the screws out and Loctite those in there. We'll start next to this hole. So we'll start at 1 o'clock. And this way we know everything's lined up. So when I put the screw back in here with some Loctite in here, it should be just fine. Already lined up for me. Did it take a little extra time to check that? Yep, sure did. But I think in the end build, it's worth it. It really is. And I don't know why I'm not using my drill. I could be. I usually do when I get tired or if there's a ton of screws, but for the most part, I like using hand tools for this small, tedious stuff. I usually use my hand drill for taking stuff apart. But I got a good drill. It doesn't strip, even plastic. It's an old Makita. It's just an old house set. And it's got all the way down to 1, which is really nice. It's really light. So I do use power tools. Did I Loctite this one? Yep. Just not real often, because there's really not that many screws that go to this. Now when I get the body parts and there's 20 screws to something, yeah, I break it out. Trust me, it's well worth it. Okay. Yeah, I love Vanquish diffs. They're just so smooth. Even their plastic ones. I don't think I've ever had to shim side to side with a Vanquish axle. Axial I have, but it was also a used one, so I was trying to get more life out of it, and which I did. I think it's still running with the shim in it inside. Okay, so what do we got? We got everything. I got the output. I've got that bearing. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Go over your book twice, 3 times, whatever it takes to make sure you got everything done for the output shaft. That one in there. Okay, so now we get the big axle. Match your bearings up, but I'm pretty sure they're these ones. Yes, they are. I'm trying to get everything in the shot here. I'm still working on this whole videoing thing, so I hope you guys are following me, and over the years you'll see that I'll get better. I've got another toolbox coming that's going to go in that hole right there to be my charging station. Can't wait for that. We ordered it, but it hasn't come in yet. It's got a compartment on the top. It's from Harbor Freight. It's just a cheap one. It's a crash cart type of thing, and it's got a lid that opens up in about a 6-inch deep area. I saw it online. People were using it as a charging station, and I thought it was a great idea. So the wife got it for me for my birthday, and we're just waiting for it to come in. Okay, so now we can put it together. Good. Orientate it just like the book so you don't goof it up. So it's orientated like that, because I'm still not perfect at this, because you've got it. So this is, let's see if it'll go in backwards. I'm just curious. No, it won't. Okay, because you got the screw holes, so you can't mess this up. It only goes in one way. So, man, that's got a lot of, I don't like that, but let's make sure the screw holes are right. And I think maybe we'll get the axles in there, then tighten these down. So do I trust the process? No, I don't trust any process. I really don't. So let's check. I hate problems rearing their ugly head later. Did anybody see the other axle bag? Oh, because it'll be in this one. Never mind. Maybe. Yeah, there they are. Okay. I was going to say there should be another set of axles somewhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just checking. It just fell out on me. Everything's falling out on me. I know I should probably put that screw in there. there's so little clearance. Ooh, and that actually hits, I think. Nope. Okay. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Let's trust the process and grease this bad boy up. I'll just put that on the axle so I'll know it goes in there. So here's another turmoil. This is just what I like. I use this lithium grease. It's real pliable. It's thin. It's I don't like drag. So anywhere that you create drag, it's bad for your motor. It's bad for your ESC. It's bad for all your components. I don't like to create drag. So I like everything to freewheel. You don't have to put a ton in here. I mean, I almost fill it. Kind of keeps the water out. You just want everything covered. As I put more in there. I guess I do put quite a bit, but you don't have to fill it. I've seen guys fill it. They say it makes it waterproof. You know, I come close to filling it, but again, if you fill it with a heavy, thick fluid, you're going to create drag, just like in your bouncers. If any of you bouncers, any of you bash, you know that they make thicker oil to create the gears to not move as freely, to create equal power to the right and the left wheel. This does the same thing. Well, it doesn't because there's not a diff in here, but it does create drag. So if you put a heavy marine oil in here or heavy bearing oil in here, from my knowledge, for my use, I don't like drag in any of my cars for crawling. You got the drag brake for that. Why make your motor work harder than it needs to when you just want lubrication and anti-rust habitat in there? That's really all you're looking for. Now my problem is I put too much grease in there, so let's get some of that out of the thread holes. All right. So that's just my personal preference on grease. You can literally use any grease that you want in there. You're just creating lubrication and less heat. Let's not cinch that down yet. And a little bit of waterproofing. So any grease will do. Again, anything I do is just my preference. There's no science behind it. It's just what I've used. It's what I've done. It's just my opinion. So I don't need a bunch of hate comments and, oh, you don't use that, don't use that. People's been using it for years. Traxxas uses it in all their stock transmissions. I also use it in my transmission. Less drag. I use it everywhere on the car, really. Less drag, less your car has to work. And I believe the longer your electronics and motors and gears will last. If you're creating drag, you're just creating a problem. All right, metal to metal, always Loctite. You don't want this stuff backing out. Okay, so that's still loose. Again, I'm going to fit the axles. Why? Because if that doesn't line up right, and there's a little pinching in here, again, it creates drag. And what don't we want? We don't want drag. So when we put these axles in here, we know that's where it's going to sit. And that's where they're happy. Okay? So now we can go and wiggle our diff cover. It's happy right there because nothing's binding. spinning freely. Nothing's binding. That's where the axles are going to sit. Go ahead and tighten them down. I go across just because, I don't know, it's just old school. It's just like a tire on a rim on a car. Go across, back and forth. Because if you get this side down, I've had some axles that didn't quite fit in there, and I just cinched it down, and then it's up over here, and then you'll crack right here. If you keep on cinching it down and it's not in, you'll crack stuff. So make sure it's in. Go across. Okay, we're golden. See, now you'll never have to worry about pulling these in and out, finding the holes, you know, or rough, or see, there's no drag. Again, a little extra step. I don't know if anybody does it. I do it just to prevent that little extra drag that could be caused by something not lining up. Oh, these look so nice. I got it. This is my first set of Vanquish metal axles. I usually get Trio just because they're a little cheaper, but like the rig came with it, and I'm really liking it. And the way they go together is just phenomenal. There's no play side to side in there. I'm really liking it. I might have to buy more Vanquish axles and just suck it up. And so please like and subscribe so I can afford new axles. All right, what do we got going here? We are up to the knuckles. Okay, so this is going to be different because I'm not using those knuckles, but all the hardware should transfer over to the knuckles. Should. Oh, you know, there is a screw that I need to put in there. Where is that screw? There it is, right here, M2, and that's probably these two screws that I have left over. It is. So let's get those screws in there before I forget, because we don't need them attached to the axles anymore because we already lined them up. I have a problem misplacing all my stuff. I set a tool down right next to me, and all of a sudden, where is that tool? That is not going to hold that in. So unlike my other axles, this screw held the, I almost don't want to put that in there. So this screw does not hold the bearing in. It looks like it's just for the, see, that's not even the right one because that does not screw all the way in there. That's got to be for the plastic axles, and I guarantee that's what these screws are for. There's only two of them, but it doesn't hold the bearing in like some. So we're not going to put those in there. So I have full turn left and right. Okay, so I'm going to conclude that these are the only extra screws that came with it. They do not retain the bearing like some differentials do. This screw is designed so you don't oversteer and bind up your axles. So this is a stop, essentially. And I'm wondering, oh, these are already rounded. Yeah, see, these are already rounded, so you're going to get maximum amount of turn capability out of these. I have some axles that they're squared off, and I can file this down and make it round like these are, so you're going to get maximum turn out of these anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna leave them in there. If I feel I need more turning, I will take them back out. But I've got quite a few Vanquish cars, and they're known for their precision. So we're gonna put this screw in here. I think there was enough Loctite on here, but maybe not. You definitely don't want that backing out, and all of a sudden you got no steering, and you can't figure out why. So you get it home. It's like, oh, that screw backed out. No wonder I can't steer that direction. Okay, boom. So those two screws, I got to remember they're extra, and I don't need them. And it's kind of bummer that they don't hold in the bearings, but that's okay. I keep losing my bearing. Oh my word! They just fall out too easy. Okay, let's bring out the heavy weights. Yeah, these are girthy. Look how big those are. These are girthy. That's why I'm not going to run the wheel hub weights on my truck, just the extra rings, the brass rings. I usually run brass rings, hub weights, and a knuckle, but these knuckles are just monstrous compared to, say, these that I run on some of my cars. So, I mean, check out the difference. These things are huge. So I'm definitely I'll get 60-40 weight biased. I like 60 in the front, 40 in the rear. Maybe a little bit more, 62, 63 in the front. But as long as I can get 60 and 40, that's really a sweet spot. So, oh, I don't know why I did that. I'm going to need it. So this can be, because there's no directions, but I can use the directions from the book and some common sense that I'm running out of. Oh, these ones are the same. These ones are exactly the same. Oh, this one makes it a lot easier. Exactly the same. You can't really mess this up. Cool. There's another one I put together that had a different arm on one than the other. It might be the H10 that I did. Okay. I really wish these came with directions. So I guess now it's preference. I don't want the machine. Wow, that one doesn't have any machine marks, but this one does. You can feel it. That's the shiny side. So let's use that one on that side and this one on this side. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Pay attention to detail. So all these screws are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, and 2 nuts. Again, we're going to put 1 screw in there so we can get it set. In the spot we want. Put another one across from it. Yeah, there is some play. But if 2 are in there, we should be good. These are big. Definitely don't want these coming apart. That's for sure. Oh, come on. Some days my fingers just don't work. Okay, looking good. Looking good. And some may ask why I don't go to stainless steel hardware or screws. Because for one, I'm not a big, huge worrier about the rust on the screws. To me, it doesn't look that bad. You get rust on your real car, your undercarriage looks like crap anyway. So why shouldn't this? Plus, the big main thing is stainless steels aren't magnetized. I got magnets up on my little shelf up here that I rub my tool on, and voila. In tight spots for an old guy with big fingers and arthritis, it really helps a lot. That way the screw stays on your tool. You can put it where you want it. I've got a car that I bought used that has stainless on it. It's a little Rustler, which is one of my favorite bashers besides the Slash. Yeah, it's got stainless steel screws on it, and it's just so hard to work on. I vowed never to go to stainless hardware on my RC car. Okay, so now, since that is the front. Oh no, this is not an H10, so the steering's in the back, so it would go like this. Correct? Sure. Maybe with a bearing. I'm gonna guess it's that one, but double check. Check the book. There it is. Yep, that is the right one. I just want to see the fitment. All right, we're back. I had to take a little break. People were walking through the garage. But we're back. There we go. Hope I'm doing that right. No, they gotta go on the other sides. Ha ha, because the steering's on the front. Ha ha, and you guys let me do that. Kidding. That was all on me. I would have figured it out sooner or later. Alright, there we go. Is that right? I have to look at the box. Yeah. See, the steering arms has to be going out. And I don't know what I was thinking. It's okay. You're allowed to make mistakes. This is what this whole hobby's all about. It's what you got directions for, pictures for, the internet for. All right, where are those shoulder bolts? Right here. Again, I put everything together, make sure nothing's gonna bind, just because sometimes the shoulder bolt's a little too long, and I've had to sand down or grind down, say, a piece of this, so it's a little thinner, so it doesn't bind. Because again, you don't want drag on your turning either. Oh yeah, that's why I love working with Vanquish stuff. For the most part, you don't have any problems. It's when you start buying third-party add-ons, like your brass knuckles from a different company, that say they fit your rig. They do, but sometimes you have to do a little grinding or a little finagling to get it to work with your kit or your model. And it looks like these are just gonna go in flawlessly. Okay, I am gonna kind of cinch those down a little to make sure that I have plenty of play. Oh, these feel girthy. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, there is some play. There's plenty of play in here. Those things will never bind up. Oh, yeah. I like it. No binding in the axles. Again, don't push it in, because if you push in, you're going to get it all gritty. See, it's all. That's why we're going to shim it. We're going to put a shim here, between here and the drive shaft, when we put the drive line on, to keep it out. That way it rolls smooth and you don't get any weird funky noises or grinding. Oh, I am so happy with those axles. So this piece we don't need, because it goes in between right there. That's if you were to use the stock, but we're not. So we'll figure all that out when we hook up the linkage. My question is, what are these nuts for? Weird. All right, so we got 2 more bearings left, 2 more spots to put them. Right here, in there. Okay, where What's this one? Oh wow, that is such a dinky little. Oh, we got. This could be fun. This is where guys with fat hands like me have issues. Needle nose pliers help a lot. Center that in there, and then find where your little. There we go. I like to pull out on the axle, so it gets that in there as good as we possibly can. Little dab will do ya. And hopefully we can screw that in there. Oh, it gives you just enough room. Okay. I'm going to make sure that's kind of flush, because I notice some rims are really tight. So if you don't have that flush, the rims kind of get really hard to get on and off, but that's really good. It's nice and flush. So we're golden. Put the other bearing in here. Get the other pin. Get the old fat finger helper. The old needle nose. Get that on. Hold it up by the the other set screw. God, some of this stuff is so small. Hold it up, push down on the hub. I like to go in and out sometimes to get that lock tight in all those threads. It's one of the screws you don't want to back out either. I know the tire holds it in there and all, but if it backs out, it creates play and it creates wear, and you don't want wear. Oh, those are nice and beefy. Look at that. Finished front axle. F10. Nice. Now we get to work on the back. Oh, we'll set up for the rear. Now, again, I don't know where those... Okay, so we know why we got those two extra screws. These are the axle nuts, so we'll just go ahead and the wheel nuts, we'll put those on hand tight so we don't lose them. I've got plenty of them laying around in different places for extras when you lose them out on the trail, but we don't want to lose them, so we will. But weirdly, I don't like having extra parts. So I know what this extra part is. Woo-wee. So we'll put that in our gallon bag of stuff we don't use. Yeah, hopefully I don't lose that. But where do these two little nuts go? It bothers me, and I don't know which bag it came with. Set, shoulder, pin, axle. I put those in there. Set pin. I'm going to venture to guess it's going to have to do with our steering, because we're not using, I'll just show you in the book, since we're not using this 10-to-1, there'll be a longer screw to go from here, and it won't reach here, so you'll have a tire, yeah, one of those. You'll have a rod end on the top and the rod end on the bottom, and one for the cross and one for the servo. So you usually have a longer screw, which I didn't see that they added. So hopefully, hopefully I got one somewhere. Where's the front axle? Oh, really? Okay, so maybe I'm gonna yell at this book. Where's the front axle setup? Yeah, we'll just steal this. That's not going to show. All right, well. There's the front axle. See here, that's where that little thing goes in between here. So that long screw will be long enough, and because it doesn't screw into there, that's where this will come in. It'll screw to the bottom of that. In my experience, I've done this a couple times, so we'll keep these for sure, because I guarantee you, because this piece here we don't screw into, we're not using that. We only have the end. So a long screw will go through here. There'll be a rod end on the top, rod end on the bottom, and then because there's nothing to screw in, you use this bolt to cinch it all together. So we won't use those. So I will keep these nuts. And what we're going to do is, my favorite thing is to use pill bottles. So I use pill bottles for stuff like this. I use big ones for a lot, or large screws, or I'll use these smaller ones. And I get mine off Amazon, like a 12-pack or 20-pack or whatnot, and then you can label them. And I use them for all kinds of things. So I've got dirty bearings for my bashers. A lot of the times I'll reuse bearings and I'll put them in here. I tear them apart, clean them all up, and put them in a cleaning solution, and then I put them refurbished bearings in this one, so I know I've got good bearings here. So I know bearings are cheap, but I get bored, and they're nice to have out bashing. I throw them in my to-go bag, and boom. So anyway, this will come in handy. This will go in my. This is my build box for the VS410. So we'll put that in there so we don't lose it, because when you have lots of projects going on, I've discovered these little boxes come in handy. I got them at Home Depot, and then I'll just label them. You know, that's got the mullet build. It's going to be next, and as things come in the mail, I just throw in here what I'm going to put on it. Servo's already here. I'm waiting on a bunch of parts for this. But yeah, so I just stuff it in there, and then I don't have 50 million different parts wondering what build does that go to. I don't have to wonder. Okay, so let's move on. Stop talking and get this done, right? Sorry, long video. We'll do the same process. Take everything out. We'll use what we use. That's interesting. What is this long? Oh, okay. I know what that's for. That goes across there. So I'm gonna put that in there now, so we don't lose it, because we won't need that. We won't need that until we put the links on. So we're just going to put that in there for safekeeping. Those are the cups. Okay. We are not going to use that, or that. That's the little wrench, so we will use that because there is one. So where's my bag? You could also use smaller bags, put the smaller pieces in there, front rear axle, and then put it in one big bag, but I know what they are. So we don't have to worry about that too much. Our axles will save. So let's open. Oh yeah, obviously we won't use this. So if I ever want to use plastic axles on another rig, I'll just use those, and I'll just have to buy the guts is all. The rears are always a little easier than the fronts. You don't have that. You don't have the turning to worry about. Yeah, I like it when stuff falls into holes. 2, 3. All right. What am I doing? What am I doing? Where are the screws? Where are the screws? Again, we'll separate it out so I don't lose stuff, and we can count everything. I just find it easier. It could be my OCD. I don't know. Could very well be. There we go. There's those I need. Spacers? Huh. My 2 very small hub screws, hub blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 6 I need for the first step. So again, we will just put 2 in the holes to make sure everything's lined up, nothing's binding, and it's all the way seated. Yep, feels like everything's good and seated. Oh, I was curious. That's one thing I'm kind of bummed about. I did not. I will have to go through there and I did not pay attention to the front and rear gear ratio. I suppose I can go in and look at the part. Looks like the gear is a 830/30 and 830/30, so they're both at the same 30 tooth. So I probably should have ordered the overdrive, underdrive, but you know what? That will be a later deal. I'm going to see how it runs stock out of the box for the most part. Well, if I need more overdrive, I'll put more overdrive in it, because the transmission should have 21% because it's a VRD. So if we need more, we'll do that later. But for now, we'll just use this stock 30 and 30, because I don't have them, for one. And for two, a lot of the times I'll try to run it with the stock gearing, especially if it does already have some overdrive, to see how it does. And this is a trail rig / crawler, so I don't know if I want to go all the way up to 34%. I usually stick around 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there for my trail rigs, so it doesn't tear up my tires too much, and it still gives you quite a bit of overdrive for some of your harder stuff to be able to keep up with other guys that are crawling. But like I said, this isn't going to be a dedicated crawler. This can be a trail rig / crawler, just to have fun with, just for looks. And some guys will tell you to clean these screws with brake cleaner, because the assembly oil on here won't cause the Loctite to properly cure. I've never had any problems with it. If there's an excessive amount that I can actually see on there, yeah, I have been known to spray them off. But the problem is, once you start cleaning stuff with brake cleaner, you lose that assembly oil, and then stuff starts rusting. Nobody likes rust. I don't mind it, but you don't want overabundance of rust in places. I use a towel to hold these gears because these gears get a little sharp. So now unscrew my, what I call my set screws. And the other one's directly across from it, so I know. I kind of feel good. Thinking I want to put some of the car together today, but I don't know. We'll see what I feel like when I get there. I had a guy that was thinking about calling me if he was going to go crawling today, so I wasn't sure whether I was going to go crawling or whether I wanted to put this together. I kind of want to get this together so I got some time to play with it before the bad weather hits. I don't go out too terribly much. It's pouring down rain. If it's drizzling and stuff, I mean, this is Washington, so we get some gnarly weather in the wintertime. So some of the stuff is indoor stuff, which, yeah, that makes me wonder. I might have to buy another kit or two so I got something to do over the winter so I can keep doing content for y'all. Explain that one to the wife. Yeah, I have to buy 2 or 3 more kits to have something to do. Those are for the end pieces. Oh, is there screw top and bottom for these? Top and bottom. Okay, so that's why there's 4 in there. All right. So again, I know we got a bearing in there. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. I am. There's the rears. Okay. So these bearings go on here, same as the front. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we have a fat one that goes in here. Yeah, again, it feels real nice. So sometimes, like I said, you need to. You could also shim in between here and here as well if you think you need it further in. But like I said, with Vanquish stuff, you go in and it starts grinding. So where they have it set is perfect. You just do the outside for the axle. God, that feels nice. Okay, so get in a hurry. There. We'll just do it that way. Such tight tolerances, but for some reason. Okay. Get the other side before I can't see. Before you can't do that. Oh my word. Wow. Some days. Oh, nice and smooth. Gotta love Vanquish stuff. Trio's really good too. You get a good company that does metal axles. It's awesome. All right, so we'll no need to have to shim inside there. There is no play side to side. So I'm confident that these are going to be just fine. So I guess we won't be showing you how to shim these until we get the axles on the rig. I mean, I could get one of the rear ends or one of the diffs. I mean the cups. Dig it out and shim it now, and attach the one end to the diff and leave it there. Or we could leave you wanting more. So, did I do this side? Yeah. I didn't do either one on this side. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Got that done. That bearing in, that bearing in. That's in there on that side. Says we can put it in there now. That one. There, both up. So again, we will put... Hey, my alien fell over. Which, if you guys haven't noticed, and I'm not doing real good about it, the more videos that come out, I might as well give you the hint. You see these two guys. If you look at some of my videos, you'll find these guys hidden in weird places. Kind of like, you know, Where's Waldo? Outside. I think I'm not going to give you a hint. You got to look at you got to watch the videos. See if you can find them. It's something fun I decided to do. And then figure if you found them and you didn't notice them in other videos, that you'd have to go back and watch the videos for fun to see if you can find them. Some are pretty obvious. Some are really hard to find. And some aren't even in there because I forgot to take them that day, or they're just not in there. So yes, some of my videos have them and some of my videos don't. And I'm talking too much and forgot to grease this. So it's just something fun for you guys to do. I will and have been trying to put them in more and more of my videos. So you'll notice that I strategically placed the first one earlier, and then that one I had to move because he fell over. We're going to loosely put this in again because I want to check the axle alignment. So nice and snug, or not snug, because I want to be able to move it. I probably don't have to do all four, but might as well. And I think instead of editing out all the mistakes or what I've missed or something, I'm going to go ahead and leave the mistakes like the last one I made, just so you know that, you know, you will always make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Sometimes you don't catch it until you get the whole car together. I try to catch it as soon as I can, but yeah, it's not always possible. That's why I kind of check the book as I go. Now sometimes I'll run some grease on here too when I put them in here. I did not do that on the front. I probably should have, but I didn't. And again, it's just to kind of help it stay nice and clean. So debating on what I want to do here. Let's stick this in here. This bearing goes in the end. You can probably put the bearing in first because I think it'll come all the way out. Oh no, it won't. That's right. It's got a little lip on there. Okay, so the bearings are in there, or the axle's in there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put the set screws in here just because I feel comfortable. What? Okay. They don't have to be tight right now. You just want this cup where it's going to, you know, rest naturally. And like I said, I probably don't have to worry about it. It is a Vanquish product. They have such tight, minimal discrepancies in their parts. Never had a problem. But if you get in the habit of doing it with all of them, it makes your builds so much better. Okay, so now you're going to have binding this way because this isn't shimmed. So if I hold this up, I should be able to go both ways. No, because it wants to pull it in. So you will have some grinding the other way because this isn't shimmed up out of the way yet. So as long as we go this way and we know we got no binding, we're golden. Oh, I love that. Okay, so now we'll cinch them down because I like where it is. And we'll start with this one and Loctite it. And you have to remember to take these screws back out, Loctite them back in. Because those are a pain when they fall out too. Okay, and we'll go across. Just, you don't want to do one side without the other, kind of like doing a head gasket on a car or a wheel or anything else that's metal. You don't want to cinch it up out of sync, or all one side and not the other side type of thing. I personally never had one break or crack, but it only takes that one time that maybe the lip isn't in or it's not. Actually, I did forget. I had some brass ones on my TRX4, the heavy weighted diff covers on this side. One side wasn't in, and I kept screwing it in. It just wouldn't go. And then realized one corner wasn't in. And then when I popped it in, it all went together fine. I didn't break anything, but that is one of the instances that if you don't stay on a regiment on doing things, you'll miss something or you'll break something. And nothing's worse than having to go buy something that was brand new that you broke, and you have to tuck your tail and swallow your pride and go buy another part just so you can fix what you broke. It's, I don't know, to me it's embarrassing. You just beat yourself up about it. It's like, oh man. Like I said, this is my first set of Vanquish axles, and man, they just feel nice. They look nice. I'm just not made of money, so I buy Trio. But having these have really kind of changed my mind on wanting expensive stuff. At least Vanquish anyway. Looks nice. Okay, so let's go through and Loctite these in. They are so short. So short. Make sure I put the bearings in there. I've put together an Axels set once and forgot the bearings in the center. It's like, why are my tires wobbling? It's like, oops. I put together my VRD once and could have swore there's a pin that goes between the overdrive transmission gears inside, and I for the life of me I couldn't remember if I put it in, and I must have found an extra one or something. Then I realized I took the whole transmission apart just to find out I did put the pin in. The other pin was to the stock set that I bought, and I had installed a overdrive set, but I was so unsure, and I didn't want weirdly worn transmission gears over time that I had to take the whole thing apart to see if that pin was in there. I was happy because it was, and it was all for nothing, but lesson learned. Maybe take pictures so you know when you get it all together. It's like, okay, did I do that? Oh yeah, I did. There it is. All right, let's do the, yeah, we'll do that last. Let's do the hubs. Again, why do I have extra screws? What are these for? Because this screws to that. Gotta love it. Do they do that just to mess with you? Oh, I know what they're for. Okay. Those are for these cups, but because the metal axles came with the nice shiny ones, that's why I don't need those. Okay. See, I panic when I have extra stuff. Oh, and you know what? Well, that's a bummer. See, there's another mistake. I was talking, wasn't paying attention, and I missed a step, and it's right there in the book. Oh, wait, no. I'm golden. It goes on the outside. This should be wet enough. I didn't skip a step. It goes on the outside. Look at that tolerance. That's close. So what did we learn, folks? Check to see if you got all the parts after you've got it all together. I panicked for nothing. Thought I had extra parts when I hadn't even got to that step yet. Okay, same thing. I like to hold the axle up, push it down. Go in and out a couple times to make sure that is all over the threads. Lost my towel. Okay. And it's nice and flush. Nice looking. Let's do the other side. Yeah, I live close to a firehouse, so you hear the fire station quite often. Oh, and I lost the pin too. That could be devastating. There it is. Why is it you lose something so small? It should be right there on the table, but it takes a horrible bounce, and you're not finding it for days. I cleaned up my garage to make room for this new battery charging station I got coming, the new crash box. And I found some lost screws I couldn't find. So it's kind of like socks in a dryer. They're somewhere in there. You're just not going to find them right now. All right, there we go. There is another. There is the rear. We got the rear and we got the front. That will conclude this video. Yeah, that's nice. Oh no, we're not quite done. Is this metal or plastic? Must be aluminum because it's not sticky to nothing. It's not sticky to nothing. I'm just gonna put a little, not a lot. Let me know if anybody actually uses these holes. Do you use the holes and fill up your rear end with grease? Or do you just take it all apart and maintenance it? So basically this just for looks for you, or do you actually utilize it to put grease in? I've got it on my VRD. I usually just take it apart and maintenance the rear end. I take it apart and inspect the gears and make sure there's no play and grease it all back up after a while, in like a long while. I'm bad at maintenance. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there we are. There are those really nice looking differentials. I'm happy with those. So we'll see you at the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Helps out with the channel and my retirement. Alright, so I think I will show you how to shim. And I skipped ahead to a couple pages, and look at there. They supply the shims. So let's see if we can't find them and see if they're big enough to actually do the job. And again, I'm going to assume they are, because they do really well at what they do. Ew. There. So this is a greasy bag. There's my shims. Okay. So looks like they gave me 3. What is it, in case you lose one? Or is one thicker? They look to be the same size. I have shims on hand just because that's weird that they only give you 3. Oh, there it is. See, there's a 4th. So I'm assuming we're gonna have 2 different sizes. Or they give you 2 of the same size in case you need to. They look so close. We're gonna find out though. So what it looks like, we need for the front and rear axle 30 and 35. So they are different. But on the motor side coming out, oh, same thing, 30 and 35. Okay, so let's do the front axle first. And front axle calls for 30, and again they're 1-to-1, so it's kind of nice to just line it up. Wow, that doesn't look like it lines up, does it? Huh. Oh, that's because they're 35s. Look at that. I grabbed the 35er. That doesn't make sense, because these aren't 30s. Wow. Okay, so the book's not exactly perfect for the axles, but we do have one that's longer than the other, so we're good. I mean, common sense says that. Well, that's stupid. Look at that, 35. All right, so okay, maybe that other page is I mean, if you're gonna do 1-to-1, wouldn't you do 1-to-1 on everything? So, you know, what if a guy doesn't have, what if a young person is putting this together? $50. What are they calling 30? What are they calling 35 from there? That's weird. So if that's a 35, or oh wait, okay, we got some smaller ones. See it? I make mistakes all the time. There's a 30. So there is that one. So these are a little longer. These are not what I want. That's okay. So that's the 30 for there. This is the 30 for here. This is a big 50. That doesn't go on these 2 pages. See, there's a 35, so that should match up. Okay, it does. All right, see? I make mistakes too. So they are 1-to-1. I didn't see those sitting over there. So I won't need these. I won't need any of these parts over here, because I'm just gonna do the little axle stubs that go into here to show you what you're looking for when you're shimming for the noise and the smoothness. So we'll need one of those. Are all four of these the same? Oh, nope, they're not. So the motor side has the gnarly tooth pieces. That's the tooth piece. So that's a smooth, so that'll be here. Then we'll need that, one of these, and a pin. Probably should do this off the book. And then the 30 piece, which is, we'll put this up there. That's 30 piece here. And then a little eensy-weensy little stubby to hold it together. Okay. Sure, yeah. Put that in there. No, we're missing something. Gotta put that put that block in there. Another nice thing to have, these cheap little pokers. Okay, line that up in here. Line that up in here. I kind of do that. That way it holds everything together. And then you can just follow it out. Okay. This will go in the cup, right? There it is. I was looking all over for it. It's like, wait a minute. But that'll go on. That's weird. Which side is threaded? That side is threaded. So you got to make sure that that big hole, and you got that small hole, this big hole goes on the threaded side, because one side is threaded and one side is not. So that side is not threaded, that side's threaded, so the big hole goes on the threaded side. So we're going to go ahead and put one in there. We're not going to Loctite it yet or nothing. We're just going to put it in there so everything is held together while I put the other end in. There we go. Don't even have to be in there tight. It just has to be in there. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so that goes in there. Now we have to find that little set screw, and you definitely want to make sure this is not got any goobers on it, any grease, because I've had these come apart in here. Ruins your whole day. If you don't have your tools, it's a pain. So let's okay, we're back. I put some brake clean on there, because you're never going to see this when it rusts. But you definitely want this clean. And you definitely want to Loctite this. Because I've had them fall out, and I don't like it. You tear your truck apart. I mean, it's not horrible, but it is a pain. So let's go like this. Go all the way through to the hole so you can see it. And screw it in there. This will get metal axles. I like the incisions. I got them on my H10. I really like them. Then they don't come apart. But we'll leave this stock for this build. Just once I break them, I'll change them out. Okay, so this is kind of a pain. I don't like this two-piece setup, and again, that's why I like the metal axles as well, because then you don't have to worry about this collar and all that stuff. It's just a pain. Okay, I use that to line it all up. It's just easier that way. Then you hold it, you take it out, put your screw back in. Especially with the two-piece, you got to line up the plastic, you got to line up the metal, yada yada. Okay, so now you'll be able to tell when you push in. Wow, that's amazing actually. Even when you push in on this, these axles are smooth. Wow, you can get away with not having to shim this, but I can feel a little bit of grinding, just a hair. So I am going to use the shim that they supplied because it's a really thin little shim, and I feel that it's going to be perfect. Yeah, I'm excited. I really like working with these Vanquish axles. Little to no work. A lot of times you have to put a shim on there. You put it all back together. You want to see, and then you want to. That's why they gave you two, most likely. Okay. That's probably why they gave you two. You might need two. You might not. Okay, so I can still pull it in and out, but the question is not whether you can pull it in and out. It's when you push it in and it's smooth. If it's smooth, you don't need that second one. So I got a little eensy weensy little grind there. The rest of the way around it's really smooth. So could I get away with not putting that second one in? I probably sure could, but just for shits and giggles, let's put the second one in there. You don't have to run it. You can always take it back out. Make sure that stayed and didn't stick to that end. So let's put a second one on here. So now you'll know if you put too many on. First of all, you won't get that through the hole. You just won't. It'll be too far. It won't pull it out. So it'll be binding. And then when you go to put this in here, it'll be really tight. So the good thing is I can get that in there with no problem. I don't feel any binding. So, oh, and we do have a little bit of in out still. I don't know if that's the axle. We're going to leave that second one in there. So I could go to my little drawer and go get one thicker and just put one in there. But we're just going to go ahead and leave that. We'll use the stock parts because if I use metal axles, the shims might be different. The clearances might be different. But this is feeling really nice. I don't know if you can see it, but it does have a little in and out play. Just a hair. But the in and out play does not affect the gears. So I can push it in as hard as I can, and there is zero grinding, zero little hesitations, and pull it out, no hesitations. So we're golden. That's how you shim your diff. If you can push in and you feel any grinding at all, you have to find a very small shim and shim it in there. If you need two, you need two. If you need three, you need three. A lot of the kits the shims you order will have 4 different sizes, so you can also use different sizes, a thick one and a thin one. Whatever you need to put in there to make sure that this is as smooth as butter. Because if it's not smooth as butter, you're creating binding. Binding is hard on everything. Parts, gears, motors, ESCs, power supplies. You want zero binding. That's why it's important to set your endpoints as well. You turn too sharp and you get, that wobble, see, where it's moving the axle. That's all bind. Wow, these are going to turn nice and sharp. There is no binding all the way to there. That is ridiculously good turning. We'll see when we get it all put together. But there you go, folks. That's how you properly shim your diff. I like the way they run. There's no binding. sounds good. It's nice and smooth. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching. See you at the next video. I'm just going to go ahead and do the rear one off camera because it's the same process. You just don't have the steering. And that way it's not a huge long video. Or I cut this out and just do the rear. Oh, where's the rear? Where is the rear? Since I'm here, I might as well do it. The camera's on. Might as well just do it, right? Okay, so we'll go to this page. Same setup. We're looking for one set screw. Well, just going to go backwards to the picture. Oh no, that's the... Never mind. I'm on the wrong page. I still need this page over here. That's the motor side. We won't do the motor side until we get the motor done. I'll put everything back in the bag. So we still need a set screw, but we'll go from this side over. And the 35, which is that one. So there, and a knuckle or a ball, whatever you want to call it. A pin, a metal cup, and a plastic smooth cup. So there we go. There's the axle. Screw, shaft, ball, pin, so we can put it all together. Let's see if I can do it right this. Oh, see if we can do it right this time. I forgot the little round piece there. So you look through the little hole, see if you can see through. See daylight, drop that pin in there sideways. Once again, look for the big side with the thread and put it there. We will put it temporarily in here until we get it on the axle. Boom, good enough. Then will we put the axle in the hole, and we will go clean this. So I will return in just 1 second. I'll edit it. So I like brake cleaner to get that off, all the grease off. Okay. What am I doing? Stick that up through there so it's in the hole, because this usually lines up pretty nice. Okay. Golden ticket. And we'll set it here like this. We'll put it together first. Okay, that's nice and lined up. Oh, the rear one's even better. I really probably could get away with not shimming that, but we do have some back-to-back or pull, so we got plenty of room to do it. So let's just shim it once so the plastic's not hitting the case, so we don't get abnormal wear. Because I still feel like we have enough room to put a shim in there. See if we can get both shims in there. See if I can get this to bind up or not go in, so I can show you how many shims are too many shims. It probably is going to make a liar out of me. But we'll see. So I'll put 2 shims in there. Huh. That's funny because it looks like 2 shims will go in there. because I didn't have a problem putting this in. If you have a problem putting this in here and it feels hard to even put there's too many shims. I have zero play, and I can see daylight between the plastic and the housing, so we're gonna leave those 2 shims in there just because I like it. All right, so we're gonna back this out. I think I forgot the front one. Oh, I was just wanting to back it out. Definitely want to do this as well, because it does thread into the metal pinion shaft. I go in and out a couple times, make sure that gets all in the threads nice and tight, because we won't have to take this off again. This is on, because it'll connect to the motor. So I just wanted to do that for you to show you how to shim the diffs. It just makes it so much nicer. And all plastic, metal, all of them, you should shim that out. It's more for the pinion gear inside the diff than it is the drive line, because you're just wanting to mesh those gears up properly inside so there's no abnormal wear or binding. Okay, so that one is officially done. There they are, real nice looking axles. So that's done. All right, thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Watch for baby Jesus and my little alien dude in different videos. Like I said, they're not in every one of them, but just kind of fun to try to find and look for. So if you like the content, definitely please support the page, like and subscribe so you get all the new videos. I'm trying to put out a video once a week. I don't know how that's gonna go. I will definitely try to put out a video once every 2 weeks, whether it's a crawling video or a bashing video or something like this, a build or even maintenance. But it's a new page for me, a new thing for me. I would love it if you support me. Like I said, I'm 57. I'm just looking to pad my my retirement, and really you don't have to do anything but like and subscribe. No money out of your pocket, just a little time. And if you like my content, hopefully it's good for you and you can use it. If you have any questions or comments in any of my videos or what you see in my videos, put a comment down there. I do have a full-time job, so I'm not going to promise I get to you the same day. I don't want to promise things I can't keep, but I have been trying to go through and seeing if there is at least comments in there. Right now the page is pretty new, so there hasn't been a whole lot of comments, but I will try to work with you and answer questions. Again, I appreciate the support. This is Kmart with Kmart RC, and I'll see you on the next video.